But it was fun to see like the event come to life.
Yeah.
But you're just like dead inside,
So after that,
It's not saying that you have to die jump.
Agency is great, especially when at the beginning where you want to learn like technical skills.
You shouldn't work in agencies. You need to work in principals. Because agencies, like yours said, is lots of work, crazy work, crazy hours. Everyone's like, okay, you should go principal, don't go agency.
Hi, I'm Crystal from Grow PR. Today we have with us Nathaniel as well as Shi Wan. Nathaniel and Shi Wan, maybe you all want to introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Shi Wan. I'm the marketing manager for APAC at Connexus. Connexus is a supply chain software management company.
Hi everyone, my name's Nathaniel. I am the VP of Marketing for Asia Pacific at Ezra Coaching. It's a brand under LHH, and essentially we help leaders and everyone in organizations become better people through coaching.
So today I will be asking Nathaniel and Shi Wan some questions about marketing, about the industry, how you got into the role, how you got into marketing as a whole, what are the challenges, what inspires you, what motivates you, and what keeps you going. And maybe we can, review things about marketing that people don't really know. First question is, how did you get into marketing?
How did I get into marketing? I first started through a random internship when I was in poly back in Nghi An. So it's one of those like when you have to finish the course.
But you studied mass comm?
No, I studied marketing actually in the business studies course back then. So when we specialize in marketing, we have to pick an internship. So that's what I picked. So I was in this like events company that did cars, like events for like car launches and things like that. Because I like cars back then. So I was like, oh damn, like this is the place to go. Let's try it out.
Best job ever.
And that's yeah, it was quite laborious actually. Like carry everything, like of course it's events, right? So you burn your weekends and all that. But yeah, that's how the experience started, and it was my first job. Doing events marketing for some pretty big car brands here in Asia.
Right. And Shi Wan, what about yourself?
Well, actually, when I graduated from uni, I have no idea that I would go into marketing. I was just applying to all kinds of jobs out there because I took management as my degree. So it's very generic and it allows me to do anything. So I applied to finance, I applied to HR roles, even insurance. And so my first job was in Mei Zhen Xiang as operations and doing marketing as well. So that's because it was my first job and it just happened to be marketing, and the experience, although tiring, but it led me to decide that I want to pursue my career in marketing after that.
Okay, and how long have you both been in marketing? 13 years.
14 years. Yeah.
Mine is probably like almost half of that, like about 5-6 collectively, like everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because you're younger.
This kind of like shows the age.
Oops. Okay, never mind. Okay. Back question to ask.
No, can keep.
Okay, so you mentioned that this made you know you want to go into marketing. What was it about the role at that point?
I think it was the experience. Like it was fun. It's different. It's not like I sit down and I face the computer daily. There was new experiences daily, meeting people. So back in Mei Zhen Xiang, I had the experience of, because they do TV show sponsorships. So I went to like the Little Nyonya press conference. I got to meet all the actresses, and then I went to MediaCorp to see them do variety show shooting because our product placement was there to make sure that the product was placed visually obviously enough. So all these little things make me feel like marketing is actually quite fun, and I should just continue in it.
Okay, yeah. Cool. And Nathaniel, how did your role evolve? Because you used to be in a marketing agency setting, and then you've been in-house,
So like I took the time during my education period, like poly and in uni when I was in NUS to try different marketing functions. So I started with events, and I went into venture capital, where I did marketing there too for the seeded brands. And then I explored my first rodeo with agency life, I would say. So I was in a media agency called PhD back then. doing really cool stuff, and it was quite intense. For back then, for those who do an agency, and then I also had a good experience in Unilever as well, doing marketing for Dove and Clearman. So it was quite a big breadth of things that I managed to try out. And as I evolved into my full-time jobs after that, into marketing, also different marketing or boutique agencies, I would say, and in brand side, you just get the full, or not full, but like a good breadth of what marketing can do for businesses and organizations, and how that changes per industry, because different industries, they focus on different channels, different type of tactics, what works, what doesn't, from B2C to B2B, or even B2B to C, right? It's a bit different here and there. Now I'm in B2B. I guess that's where I am today.
We'll get to B2B, the B2B marketing later, since you guys are both in B2B marketing. But you mentioned like agency life very intense, and I know, right, because I run an agency. Do you feel that young people don't really want to join an agency these days? Like, because when I graduated, and then my lecturers would tell me, go and join an agency, because that's where you get the most experience at the start, and then like you learn like everything, then you can decide what you want to specialize in, something like that, right? But do you feel that it's different now with the younger generation? I just assume you know the younger generation. I don't know.
Closer. Still millennial, not too bad. I would say that was also the advice given to me actually back then. Like, shout out to Imran, right? So that's how I moved from VC to my first agency role in Omnicom and PhD. And I would say, like, to your question, as a good start, agency is great, especially when at the beginning, where you want to learn like technical skills. Of course, depending on what agency you're in, right? Like, I was in media, so it's like a lot of media planning, for example, or like media strategy and things like that. But if you're in creative, it's a very different role, PR, so on and so forth. So it's very highly specialized in executing briefs or projects for the client. So it's a good way to start if you want like a whole skill set, but it is highly focused. So it may or may not like be appealing for everyone. And to your point, for the younger generation, I would say it depends on your grit, on your ability to endure possibly longer hours than necessary. And really like intense like projects, like multiple projects with like deadlines from yesterday or things like that, right? So it really depends on how much grit you have and what's your goal of being in a certain agency that does a certain thing. But at the same time, there are agencies who do multiple things, right? Like more 360 types. Either they have partners or many in-house personnel who do multiple things. So that's also a good breadth of, I would say, to be able to experience what marketing can do for you. But all depends on your tenacity.
I actually feel like my generation, still millennial, but still seems to be a different generation. We were, during my time, all my friends, when we graduated, we were like, you shouldn't work in agencies. You need to work in principals. Because agencies, like yours said, is lots of work, crazy hours. Whereas at a principal, you get paid better, and you're the one telling the agency what to do rather than being told what to do. So everyone, like in my generation at least, everyone's like, okay, you should go principal, don't go agency. So I don't know how have things changed. I didn't know that your lecturers would actually tell you to go agencies.
Actually, still the same. Like when I was in uni, it was a battle between going to brand or agencies, like, because there was a good mix of different people within there. So like totally agree as well. The perceptions are the same actually. But having when you go into brand side, then you also see the different realities of things, right? The challenges as well. Because to your point, like, brand side is like, you can tell agencies what to do, assuming your brand has the budget to work with an agency in the first place, right? But many people do not tell you that. And that was the hardest thing ever, because you had to go through every country to make sure everyone is, aligned to the direction. I hate that word, but that's consensus, or at least belief in what this plan is, and to support our key client in terms of like hitting that direction together. And I think the scariest part, or the most stressful part, is when few people disagree, like hard disagree, and then like, oh no, that's gonna affect the next stage or the next part of the deck, you know.
So if people disagree, then how do you have to? Like,
No, so exactly. So you have to pivot on the spot, or you have to solution on the spot with the client at the same time to not lose confidence with the rest of the markets that are technically supporting at first, but after hearing, you know, they might be swayed here and there, especially if it's like key major market compared to minor market, you know, stuff like that. So quite intense. That was the most difficult, I would say, because it was virtual. So it was, to me, it was very hard to read the room. You know, it's all like, and you can tell.
It was like a full day.
Like a few hours,
Sure,
I would say, or like 1 or 2 hours. I forgot. Like, no, definitely not 1 hour. A few hours. So that to me was the most challenging point for me in, I would say, back then in agency life. But other than that, I can totally relate to her Chinese New Year story, because like, I mean, more fun story lah. That one very corporate.
Yeah, super like very technical.
More fun.
I'm trying to understand like the challenge.
Yeah, the challenge. Yeah. Very chim. Very complex like media strategy. But the more on a more fun or chill note, can totally relate, because like back then we did a car launch for one of the car brands here in Singapore.
When you were an intern that time.
Yeah, very long ago, and like it was in like, so I can totally relate, like as a junior, right? And then I was a young fitter man, you know, that you have to carry everything, like you get arrowed to carry every single heavy thing into like Vivo City back then, right? You know, it's like the event space. Then you like lift all the stuff, help carry this here and there, sweat upside down, left, right, center, and then you still go back at like 2 a.m, 3 a.m, then report at 6 a.m or that type of thing to like start running the event and look fresh. You know? It's like super intense, and then like a few weekends type. So like that was intense, like for like the event side of things when I did that. But it was fun to see like the event come to life, but you're just like dead inside, you know.
So after that, that made you stay away from like events marketing?
Not really. Surprisingly, I do so many events now in my role. But
it's different.
You don't have to carry stuff, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit different.
It's like more
now.
B2B, right? You don't carry.
Yeah. And also back then, you know, it was like junior exec.
Yeah.
Then now it's like you're running the whole show, planning everything. It's a different POV from how I started. But that, I would say, set the principle or the standard that is required, at least for me, for future events. But the laborious part is still laborious.
I would say B2B, you still have to carry, I mean, you have to carry your brochures, you have to carry your giveaways and everything, your banners. I've dragged banners and with boxes and bags all over, crossing the road and everything.
Yeah, bringing luggage, all that.
Yeah, so it's not exactly that only B2C have bulk laborers work. But B2B too is just probably in a different way.
Context.
Different kind of things that you're carrying.
Quite funny.
Okay, interesting. Have you ever thought about leaving marketing altogether? Because, you know, we're talking about how like challenging it is.
I did think, but I also don't know where to go. Like, being in marketing for so many years, what other roles out there would be suitable? And I kind of think of it like in generic terms. Finance, I'm not really interested in numbers. HR, possibly, but I've been so entrenched in marketing, I think it's a little hard to step out.
But you do have a bit of a HR face, you know.
Like a people's face.
Like you have a HR face. I don't know how to describe it.
And anyway, I don't feel like HR, at least in all the companies that I've been in, I don't feel the support from HR really. So I don't want to be this kind of person who's being
targeted.
Hated on.
But what was like, why did you think about leaving marketing?
To try something different.
Because being in the industry for quite some time.
Being like, I just think like, when I'm in my 50s, do I still want to be running around carrying merch and brochures and banners? Do I still want to be running field marketing? It's something like you have to think in the long run, is this still something you want to do? Yeah. So that's one reason.
Okay. What about you, Nathaniel?
Me, not yet lah, I'd say. I think currently like where I'm at in this season, no, I still want to see what more can be done in the business, because I think the unique thing about my position is that we get to really be like literally hands and knee deep, or even like my whole body deep in everything in the business, and together with my leaders and the team as well. So it's really fun to see how you can get creative with the tools that you have, right? To bring in the sale, to bring sales in faster, quicker, better as well, and give people better client experiences. So that's at least still the cool parts for me. But to your question, right, and to her reflection as well, I did think of the long run plan, of course, which is, I feel I still want to get into some form of teaching in the end. I have done like teaching before, of course, like not on like official, like, you know, big like tuition centers or whatever, but in my own capacity back then, I did teach here and there, or give sharings here and there. Even now, I still go back to my secondary school and also in my uni to give like different type of sharing. So I think that's probably the path I would go towards.
So in the next 5-10 years, you want to teach?
Yeah.
Like, and what do you want to teach?
Can be marketing lah. I would say can be marketing lah. Right? Because I mean, you have that collective experience.
Yeah.
And then I think the beauty of it is also sharing the reality of it lah. You know, how like, yes, there's
Scare people off.
Yeah. Either you scare or you inspire people to understand, like, okay, these are the things I can do, but these will be the expected challenges from a business or like people perspective. Right. So that's the fun part, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that there are certain things that you haven't explored yet.
Yeah.
What are the things that you feel like you want to do but you haven't?
Like marketing wise,
Yeah.
or like
in your current role, or like
marketing wise, I would say for myself, it's how can I, at least for my role, because we are very heavy on like events and activations. I would say currently it's a lot of events, workshops, types like that. So what I want to explore is definitely working on how else we can elevate the client experience for my key clients right here in the space. Because I think the unique thing that started in my company is that for our key B2B clients, we kind of help them with launching their own coaching program. So what do I mean is that typically in companies, like when you have like, let's say whether is it like a learning development tool or any sort of like L&D program, it might be left there in your HR portal or like in some PowerPoint slide or email, right? And or with your HRBP to work with you directly, right? But I think the one thing that we're doing differently is becoming like a mini in-house agency to support clients, to give them like their own branded versions of, in a sense, in my case, it's the learning solutions, or the coaching solutions that
helping
we have.
them to communicate.
Communicate it better, because HR,
better.
like at least for ours, LD or HR may not be the best comms persons, or they may not know the tools or have the tools or access to their own marketing resource to do so. So we become that extension of them. So it's like a mini in-house, like mini extension agency type of format.
So I mean, maybe what's interesting is that like you feel like you can make a change, or like inspire change, or like, I don't know, change things up some way that can like contribute to
the better, I would say, client experience for them when
contribute to building the business.
When they work. Exactly.
Like you can see like yourself make things change versus like just being a cog in the machine, something like that.
Exactly. And being at the front of that, and then working with my team to execute that accordingly. I think it's the fun part, because you get to really orchestrate new things, especially if you need to speed things up, or if you need to like, you know, bring in like pipeline a lot more and things like that, then you really get to be at the front of the decision making,
like experiment with different things,
and you get to try it out, you know. And I think our culture is where we if we win, great, and then if we lose, then, but we don't say we lose, we kind of like, we either say it like, if we win, great, and if not, we learn all the time. And we keep learning.
You win, or you
So
win, or we learn. So that we always keep winning, essentially. And try.
Interesting. So what about you, Shi Wan? Because you know, Kinexis has quite a lot of layers, right? Do you feel that, like in a organization that is quite big, and there's many different processes and stuff like that, it's still possible to feel like you are making change in some way in the work that you do?
I think it is possible, but it takes a lot of teamwork, a lot of team recognition. I think definitely marketing does impact pipeline directly in some way or another. Every single pipeline, every single opportunity that comes through will be touched by marketing activities at some point of time. It could be right at the end, it could be in the middle, that it could be that turning point between an opportunity into a closed deal. So it's just about it's about whether the company has ways to track it. So thankfully,
and see the value of it.
Thankfully, Kinexis does. But then again, I think the overall company culture needs to support that. For you to feel that you are making a contribution and to see your value, the whole company's culture needs to support that.
Totally true.
And how are y'all tracking like the impact of marketing at this point?
So every single activity is logged, and it's because it's measured by contact. So once that contact goes into an opportunity and that contact is tagged as a pipeline with a pipeline and everything, all the activities that marketing does with this contact is definitely captured. So it's actually quite fair in that sense that regardless that the activity happened 2 years ago, there is still a contribution that
to the journey.
To the journey,
So it's very clear, like each source of like a lead that comes in.
It's not so much a source, it's more of just a touch point.
Okay.
Because source means where it came from originally, but it
may not be
doesn't really
point.
matter where it came from originally. It's more of throughout that prospect's life cycle, what have we done to help move this prospect
to
along?
influence the deal
So maybe like they click on an email, or they saw like certain video, or like they attended a webinar.
Correct.
And then you have that info somehow.
Correct.
Okay.
That one we can talk forever. Oh my god. Attribution is a pain.
Attribution is a pain
It is a big pain.
Everyone, right?
That's why I say it's teamwork.
Yeah,
a lot of
it's
collaboration.
really teamwork. It's a lot of teamwork, and also like anecdotal feedback from your own sales team, the clients themselves, stuff like that.
So I mean, like, it's difficult to implement that anecdotal feedback, right?
Depends on how big I would say. Depends on
how big the team is.
How big the sales teams are. Also like how close you are also as a marketer to the deal. And then you get to see like what really can push or not.
Okay. Okay, so now to my next question is that, like, I think there is always this battle between sales and marketing, right? In terms of like, which contributed to the revenue and stuff like that. So how do y'all deal with that? Do you experience it?
Yeah, definitely in different ways. Like to her point also, like at least for my organization, if it originated from marketing, means it's marketing. Like origination, for example.
Like for example,
but even though like the deal may be closed by the salesperson, which is right. Of course, I mean that's not our role. But because it originated from maybe this event or this activity, that you got a brand new like potential buyer type of thing, then that's guaranteed marketing originated because origination was there already. But other parts, of course, are majority like influencing, I would say. For us, but the challenge to your point is actually like at least for my firm, I think I'm really blessed or lucky like myself and my sales leaders, we are really like tight in terms of like how can marketing like either bring in the new context we need to bring in or push I would say conversations forward, like in terms of like understanding the product better, understanding like or like whether we can cross-sell, upsell better using like an event, using a webinar, using something, right? So then we use that as opportunities for conversation in different marketing formats rather than always speaking to a salesperson, for example. So we use things like workshops or like or your other type of like fireside
different formats
chats
to nurture.
To build that use case or the need.
So going back to what Shi Wan said, right? It's very much like culture driven, right? Because it sounds like the sales team and then the marketing team are all like working quite collaboratively. And in that sense, it's the ideal world, right? But then there's also like worlds that are not ideal. Then
there's
like there's politics and stuff like that.
Definitely, if one sales guy does not see the value, then they would not want to attribute or give you the credit when due. But I think it's really how you show the sales your value. When they see that you're actually value adding to them, it doesn't necessarily have to be just doing events for them, doing activities for them, because they don't necessarily see it immediately. A lead that comes in from an event could take 6 months before it becomes really hot enough for the sales to actually work on. So by that time it happens, they would not remember that it actually came from this event. So it's about that constant giving them that, it's kind of like almost like spoon feeding them with every single information, updates, regardless, not just leads, but anything that helps make their life smoother, so that they will see your value add, and therefore they would be more receptive to anything that you do.
Right.
And support,
if they see that you are helping them,
Yes.
in that sense, it's very relationship.
And they must also understand what your definition is of marketing, because a lot of sales teams don't really, they have a perception of it, so you need to correct that perception, or at least like add on to that perception, right? Because they may or may not know what you can or cannot do, right? So when that happens, then they actually don't know how to approach you as well most of the time. So it's a lot of like to your point, right? Exactly, it's like you have to talk to them, get them to understand like where is your role in the funnel in the end, right? And what are your own tools, for example, and then you experiment, right? And you have to slowly work together, right? In the end, and then keep like what you
Sometimes
said.
Sometimes I feel like it's just like building that rapport with them outside of work also helps, because when you build the rapport, they're more willing to hear you, and you also have to be open to hear them on what's their challenges, and work together to resolve their challenges, like rather than just saying that no, I can't do this. You have to try your best to go out of your job scope to support them. That's when they really will see like, okay, this is my value add to you, and anything that Shi Wan says in future, it's worth listening to, rather than just saying, okay, this is marketing. Marketing is just not going to value add to me. I don't care about their leads because it takes 1 year before I can actually work on it. So before you even, I think in any role, you need to build a rapport with that person outside of what your role is.
Interesting.
If I can add also, it's like as we were talking, right? It's like something one of my ex-bosses also said this as well. It's like marketing, especially in B2B, you are essentially the 24/7 salesperson in a different form, right? Through your channels, through your website, through your activities, and if you do not put the hat of a salesperson on, even though you're marketing, it's very hard for you to function, because exactly like what you said, you need to empathize with your sales team, your sales leaders, understand the pipeline challenges and how they reach, like all the stages, like qualify, propose, develop, start things. And therefore, knowing that, and then you put a marketing lens on, right? How would you do your role as the 24/7 salesperson, right? Through your methods and means as a marketer, then I would say you can really tighten the gap even better, because you are essentially an extension of the sales team to be that multiplier. I would say that's a good positioning to have, so that you see everything that you do multiplies their efforts.
Okay, maybe last 2 questions, because I'm mindful of time. Right. So, everybody thinks that they can do marketing to some extent, right? Like, you can create a brochure or whatever, like do an event and stuff like that. And marketing is not directly seen as driving revenue. I mean, like, okay, that's subjective, right? But we're not exactly in sales and stuff like that. So, what do you think? Do you all think that like people kind of undervalue the role of marketing?
I agree that everyone can do marketing. I mean, it's not difficult. It's just, do you do it right? Do you do it effectively, efficiently? Are you maximizing the ROI? I think that is what is difficult. I think that is what is the difference between a good marketer and just a normal person, because a marketer can be just taking a plan and just executing. As long as you know how to plan, or rather you know how to execute, you can do. Anybody can put a brochure together. Now Canva, all this are so easy. Even a Microsoft Word document you can just save as PDF and becomes a brochure. But it's not necessarily effective. So that's what the marketing role, the difference is. To be able to craft a message in such a way that the customers don't feel that you are marketing to them and you are selling to them their pain points. That's something that you need experience or learn. You need to study how to do it. You need experience to learn how to do it.
I would say marketing is easy to start, but it's extremely hard to master because it's evolving all the time. Like there was what started as just campaigns like out of home and all that. Right now is we have programmatic, we have like attribution tracking on like different media formats, or we have like all sorts of martech to do what you need to do, right? And get everything as transparent as possible, right? Everything is pegged to budget now, so like you have to be you have to balance like art and science in a way, like all the creativity stuff and then at the same time all the technicality in it. But I think what makes a great marketer is when you're able to be that glue between sales, solution and product, and also as yourself as the brand custodian, right? That's where, if you're able to gel all these things together, that's where as a marketer you'll be ultra effective or super effective, because you understand that you have the tools, like exactly like what she said, in terms of like having the technicality, the technical skills and the capabilities and the fundamentals. But to get things to the next level is when your message is out effectively, when you know which channels work, which channels do not, what you can experiment, what you can't, and have that value add beyond things that tools can really do for you so quickly now, especially with like AI and Gen AI and things like that. But those are tools to do execution outputs. Execution outputs nowadays, you can find tools like that to get it done faster. But to get it done great, that's where a good marketer needs to come in the end, right?
The quality is about the quality, because you can produce in quantity these days.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Something
like my colleague was saying this, like all this AI stuff or tech can help you do things fast and efficiently, but it's your expertise and experience that makes the difference. It's just like how we get ChatGPT to do our stuff at first, but we add on our own experiences, right? After that part, that second part, is what makes the difference.
They need to know what to input to ChatGPT in the first place.
Exactly, because the thing doesn't know.
Yeah, right? They wouldn't be able to churn out anything if you don't give it a proper command.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the same for how you brief agencies or your teams or your colleagues, right? Input and output. If input's not good, output also won't be fantastic.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so last question before we wrap up. Let's talk about salaries. Earlier we were talking about like, certain industries pay better and stuff like that. Like, do y'all have any thoughts on that? Since y'all have also been in different industries as well.
Tech and finance
pays well,
better.
like as an in-house role.
Yeah.
What about agencies?
I think depends on what level, right? Depends on what level in the end. But to be fair, the starting is always like a bit lower.
Yeah.
Right? It's a fair thing. But as you climb, the earning potential, of course, like definitely increases. But it's all about at least how much more can you add value to either the overall account or the business unit that you're running in. That would change your pay scale dramatically after, I would say.
And you need to be able to market yourself.
Yeah, and you must. Yeah, I mean, I hate that word. I hate this word, but it's all about like presence, right?
Personal branding.
Or like optics. Oh, I hate that word also. But it's
if you don't know how to negotiate, you will always not be able to jump as much as somebody who can negotiate do. And I think during our parents' time, they are always like, tier fund one. But
Iron Rice Bowl,
one job do 40 years. But in today's time and age, I don't think it's relevant.
Yeah. You
get stagnant after a while, but that's it. Of course, if that job, that company gives you an opportunity to constantly grow, then it's good. It's not saying that you have to die jump. It's just that there are a lot of companies, a lot of times, a lot of roles, you tend to get stagnant after a few years, maybe 5 years, 10 years. And if you don't take the opportunity to do something different, you will stay out of touch with reality and with the industry needs. Then that's when your pay gets stagnant too.
Yeah.
So it's about knowing when you need to jump to the next role, be able to market yourself at that next job and negotiate for a better pay.
Yeah.
So would you encourage your child or maybe your future children to go into marketing in the future if they say like, I want to do it?
Why not?
Yeah, just go ahead. I think like to what she said, like majority of the work comes out in the end on the point of conversation, how you present yourself at the end of the day, how you speak about what you're doing, how you present your work or your ideas or anything. Because you can be a great executor, but if you cannot show it or speak about it properly, or if I can't put you in front of a major client or even your own major stakeholder internally, confidently, I think regardless of your function, marketing or not marketing, you can't go very far. But and then that's the honest truth, right? So people need confidence in your ability to deliver on the spot, and this is what makes the difference in how you speak, how you present yourself. So I would say, just why not? But you have to also work on how you deliver it.
Okay.
I would say.
So I think that's a wrap. Any other things that you want to add? Like last parting words?
No, I think if anything, it's soft skills like communication, presentation. That's something that if anybody, regardless of what you are doing, soft skills like communication and presentation, public speaking, it's critical.
Yeah.
Okay.
And to add is just know what business you're in and know why your function exists in the business and elevate that.
Knowing your role.
Yeah, knowing
your role and taking it to the next level.
Exactly. And like really know it.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for watching this video. This is part of our Marketing Leaders podcast where we interview different marketing leaders. Today we have Nathaniel and Shi Wan. Thank you very much. And we plan to do more of these videos where we interview different marketing leaders on their challenges, inspiration, and what they hope to do for the future. Right? If you like this video, remember to like, share, and subscribe, and tell us more about what you want to watch. Thank you.